First 100, fresh from the tailgate. The Smith & Wesson M&P 9C. Okay, so let's have a look at this thing. I've been on a bit of a compact 9mm double stack kick here lately, and no such collection would be complete without the Smith & Wesson M&P 9C. This is exactly how it comes. I literally just picked it up. This is Smith & Wesson's compact version of the M&P series. All right, so let's see how this thing comes. We have the traditional oil paper that Smith & Wesson provides, which I always like. First pistol I ever bought was a Smith & Wesson many moons ago, and I still have the oil cloth or oil paper that it came in. So the very popular Smith & Wesson M&P line comes in many different sizes, and this is the compact size. The compact is a relatively short 3.5-inch barrel, concealable, carryable, but also has some capacity. Comes with 2 magazines. They are both 12-round magazines. Uses a double stack design. One magazine has the pinky extension that you see here to extend the grip without really extending the height of the pistol, and then the other magazine is a flush mount. So there'll be times you may want or prefer the flush mount, and times you may prefer the extra grip of the pinky magazine. I don't really mind either way. The Smith & Wesson did it right in that the base plate of this magazine is flush with the front strap of the grip. To me, that's very important. Some folks don't do that quite as right. I've talked about some of the other guns that didn't get that bit right. Smith & Wesson got it right, and so therefore the flush fit magazine is really not uncomfortable for me or any problem. Having said that, I will admit that I do find a little extra comfort in having that grip for my pinky, so I can just sort of get a full handful. 3-dot sights. These are not night sights, but they are a 3-dot combat sight arrangement. Very good sights. Pretty traditional Smith & Wesson sights. They are steel construction. Drift adjustable for windage, both front and rear. Obviously rear is where you want to be making those changes. It has the M&P fit and finish that I've come to expect, which is very good. I like the fit and finish of the M&Ps. I think they do an excellent job with them. I like the millwork, and I like the finish on their slides. I like the serrations. They are aesthetically interesting and fun in that sort of fish scale look, but they're also very practical because that is extremely easy to grip. It has ambidextrous slide stop release controls on either side, of course. And it has a reversible magazine disconnect, so if you wanted to make it a left-handed pistol, all you've got to do is change your mag release and you're all set. Again, it's a 3.5-inch barrel. I don't have the specs in front of me for overall length, height, and all that weight. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. And of course, it has the ever controversial M&P trigger. Some people, well, I'm not going to say some people love it. I don't know anybody that loves it out of the box. Some people hate it to the point where they won't even touch an M&P. Some people dislike it and modify it with a drop-in like an Apex. Some people dislike it and tolerate it. I'm in the, yeah, it's not the best trigger, but it's not all that bad. I shoot a lot of different guns, and I feel a lot of different triggers, and every gun has a unique feel to their trigger, and Smith & Wesson, of course, is no different. And, you know, people complain that there's a grittiness or a sponginess to it. I don't know, I don't really mind it that much. But certainly I can also understand why some people would want to improve it. But, caveat, for me, this is my advice to you, take it or leave it, I would never modify the trigger of any gun that's going to be a home defense gun or a carry gun, period. So like it the way it comes or don't use it. Okay, Smith & Wesson also provides a couple other goodies like first shell case. Wow, not very long ago. This is less than a month ago this was test fired at the factory, so it's got a, let me smell. Yeah, it smells fresh. We have our gun lock, we have our icky glue, and we have our owner's manual. So that's what comes with the pistol. Just the basics. Pistol also comes with, as all M&Ps do, a couple of replacement backstraps, or alternate backstraps, if you will. By default, they usually install the medium, and so you have, this is the small, you can see the S, and this, I'll bet you, is the large. There's an L for large. So the large has a little bit of enhanced beaver tail to it, and of course the small does not. The medium right now to me feels really good, so I got no, I feel no rush to change that at this point in time. So there it is. Pretty basic stuff. Very fine pistol. Smith & Wesson M&P 9C. One that I've not shot before, so this will be the first. And speaking of firsts, let's do about 100 firsts and put the first 100 through this gun. All right, let's load up some magazines, get shooting this thing. 12 round capacity in each magazine. If you're carrying it or keeping it at the nightstand, that's 12 plus 1. So I'm anxious to see how the M&P compares to some of the other compact 9mm I've been shooting lately. Right now there are a lot of really good compact and subcompact 9mm pistols out there. Okay, I'm going to shoot a little bit of everything today, and I'm probably going to shoot a bunch of my just an opinion hand loads too. So let's get shooting. I've got a target set up down range. I'm going to go out to about I don't know, probably just 7 yards. Good defensive distance. And let's start putting some rounds through this thing. Smith & Wesson M&P 9C. This is the first 100. These are the very first shots. Yeah, see, I did only have 11. Weird. This one goes to 11. Using the flush mount mag now. It's got those really good M&P ergonomics, of course. Feels really good in the hand. The trigger, so far, I'm not minding it a bit. Haven't really paid that much attention to the trigger, which is really a compliment in itself. Yeah, so far, first 22 or 24 rounds, however many that was. First couple of magazines worth. Good stuff. Nice shooter. Let's load up some more. Do that again. Let's go again. The trigger, I'm going to talk about the trigger probably more than usual because M&P triggers get such a bad rap, but the trigger on this pistol feels good to me. It's got a nice reset. It's got a relatively short reset, certainly a respectably short reset, and it's a lot more tactile than I'm used to on M&Ps. There's not so much a loud click, although there is kind of a click, but you definitely can feel that reset with your finger, and there's no question. You know exactly when you're there. To me, that's key, and I really appreciate that in this pistol. Let's maybe try and speed it up a little bit. Okay, so there's 24 and 22, 46, there's the first 46, and so far, liking it. Liking the M&P 9C quite a bit. Let's go for some headshots. Hear that reset? The folks at Smith & Wesson have really been busy. You hear that reset while I'm shooting? Very, very non-M&P like. Not quite Glock like. But the reset on this trigger is much improved over previous generations of the M&P, and the pull feels a lot smoother to me. You don't have that grittiness. You also don't have quite as much sponginess as usual. This is a decent feeling trigger to me. I got no complaints whatsoever. The trigger is, it's a little heavy. I have to put a gauge on it. Feels like, might be as much as like 8 pounds. But again, it's smooth. We don't have a lot of that take up and sponginess that there used to be. And the reset is really nice. Very much improved reset. Fairly short and good feedback on the reset. Okay, we're about 3/4 of the way through our first 100. I'm liking it. I'm liking this gun. Do you think I could get that fly? Man, I wish I had a round in my gun right now. I'd try it. But I don't. So we'll never know. Try a little one-handedness. You could try a little tenderness, or you could try a little left-handedness. A little weak hand shooting. Man, look at that shake. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Hey, that's not bad. Left-handed, I usually make that target look like somebody's been after it with buckshot, but in this case I think I only threw one round outside of the 0 ring, which is pretty good. I'm shooting a little slow, but still. I'm really kind of impressed, not kind of, I'm very impressed with the trigger on this gun. M&P 9C, first 100 are through it. I'm very impressed. This is a really, really nice shooting gun. Accuracy, I was only at 7 yards, so I'm not going to boast about any kind of accuracy, but I have every confidence that this gun is pretty accurate from what I was seeing, and I just asked this guy. This was, I had a few rounds here when I was shooting fast that I pulled low, and I taped those up, and shooting left-handed, I shot one round outside the 0 ring. Everything else, good hits. All right, so that's enough from out here in the sun. Let's get this thing indoors, and I'll break out the specs and give a little bit of summary, and maybe compare this to some other guns in its category, just to give a quick look at how it stacks up. So there it is, the M&P 9C, C for compact. After the first 100, makes me definitely want to put a lot more 100 through it. Great little shooter. I like the M&P line anyway. This one's been around for a while. It's really kind of proven itself, I think. So after a mere first 100, actually ended up being like 120, I definitely can understand why people have loyalty to the brand, to the M&P line, not just the compact, but you know, the full size and even the shield. I definitely get it. You know, Smith & Wesson makes a good product here with the M&P line. I like them. I have several, and I'm pleased to add this one to the mix. So there's still, even with new offerings like the Glock 43 in a single stack and the micro pistols, there is still a very competitive market for the compact with capacity, let's call it. And 9mm lends itself well to that because of the size of the round. And this size pistol is really kind of where they all end up settling in. This thing weighs about just under 22 ounces with an empty magazine, and it's 6.7 inches long. So here to here, just under 7 inches. So it's a good sized little gun, and the height is about 4 3/8. So it is right in line with a lot of the new guys that are coming out, competing in this same market. And just to name a couple, here's one that is almost a dead ringer. I mean, these two could be long lost twins, you know, separated at birth. This is the FNS 9C, recently acquired and looked at, and I will definitely have to do this comparison. That's a no-brainer. And another, then you have the Sig Sauer P320 striker fired subcompact, very similar in size to this pistol. Definitely going to have to do a comparison there. Now what these guys all have in common, see if I can get all three of them in the shot here. There we go. And we got the M&P in the middle. Now what these guys all have in common is that they are all a double stack. They are all 12 round capacity, 12 plus 1. And they are all extremely good choices for a gun this size. So there will be some future comparisons, absolutely no doubt about it. So M&P 9C, my first thoughts after my first shots are, I like it a lot. I think the trigger on this gun is definitely improved over the earlier M&Ps and some of the other M&Ps that I have and have shot. It's a little on the thick side, of course, because of that capacity, but if you are able to carry inside the waistband something of this thickness, and let's face it, a lot of us for years have been, even though there's a lot of new guys out there now that are much thinner, this is what we're pretty much used to. Excellent little 9mm pistol with good capacity. The M&P 9C, C for compact. You'll be seeing this one again. I'm going to put a whole lot of rounds through this guy. This is a nice gun.